बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम वसल्लल्लाहु अला नबील करीम रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी वयस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली। After welcoming to you, I would like to say that the theme for this morning is Islam and Sufism, or Islam and spirituality. I myself is a Sufi, but not in a traditional term, but in modern scientific term. I have studied a lot on Sufism and spirituality. I would like to say that Sufism is the expression of spiritual aspect of Islam. Spiritual aspect of Islam. Although the word Sufi or Tasawwuf is not mentioned in the Quran, but the equivalent is there. The Quranic equivalent to Sufism or spirituality is Ar-Rabbaniyya. This word is derived from a Quranic verse, that is Kunu Rabbaniyin. Kunu Rabbaniyin. From this I have derived this word Ar-Rabbaniyya. So Ar-Rabbaniyya, in a sense, have the same meaning, which is the meaning of tasawwuf or ruhaniyat or spirituality. Now, what is Sufism or what is spirituality? I would like to say that man has two different aspects, physical aspect and spiritual aspect. In physical term, we need food every day. To maintain our physical health, we need physical food. So is the case of our inner personality, that is soul. We need spiritual food to maintain the health of spiritual being. So this is the definition of spirituality according to Islam. And this kind of nourishment is needed every day. You need every day some physical food to maintain your physical health. So is the case of spirituality. Every day you need spiritual food to maintain the health of your soul. It is a daily basis feeding. Then, according to my study and my experience, there are two different kind of Sufism or spirituality. One is based on heart, and the other one is based on mind. Traditional Sufism or traditional spirituality is based on heart. Heart-based spirituality believes that in your heart is a treasure of spirituality. Your heart is a treasure of spirituality. So you need nothing but to unfold this treasure, this hidden treasure. So they practice what is called muraqaba or meditation. Muraqaba means zikr and inner muraqaba. For example, these Sufi practice like this: La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. This is an example. They, by these practices, they invoke the inner ability, and they believe that by invoking this inner treasure or ability, they will find spirituality. But I don't believe this kind of spirituality. Why? You know, in our modern age, science has corrected so many notions. For example, in previous centuries, people were believing in geocentric theory. Now it is discarded. Now we believe in heliocentric theory. So is the case of spirituality. You know, scientific studies show that heart is nothing but a center of circulation of blood. That's all. There is no thinking in heart. The center of thinking is our mind. So I believe that the true spirituality is mind-based spirituality. Now, if you practice heart-based spirituality, the end is ecstasy or vajd. Through this kind of practices, you reach to a state that is called vajd or is ecstasy. What is ecstasy? What is ecstasy? Ecstasy is going into the state of unconsciousness. It is like every animal lives in this kind of ecstasy. So I don't think that this is the true spirituality. This is a, a reduced form of spirituality. So I believe in that kind of spirituality that is based on mind-based spirituality. Now, I would like to say that there are two aspects of spirituality: inner spirituality and external spirituality. Internal spirituality and external spirituality. You can say that internal spirituality means pure spirituality, and external spirituality means applied spirituality. Or in other words, internal spirituality is individual spirituality, and external spirituality is social spirituality. When you receive the spiritual light, your 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 personality is enlightened. That is individual spirituality. Then when your spirituality translates into social life, that is external spirituality. Now I will give some example. To illustrate this point, I will give some examples. Let us take the first kind of spirituality. I will give an example. You know, Moses was a prophet of God. He was born in ancient Egypt. He performed a miracle before the Egyptian king Pharaoh. What was that miracle? He threw his staff, and suddenly that staff he converted into a serpent. This was a miracle. But I would like to say that this was not a single miracle. Moreover, it was a demonstration, a universal demonstration. Prophet Moses showed that the whole world is a miracle of conversion. Here you can see that a wood, a part of here, here you see that uh, a wood was converted into serpent. So is the case of whole universe. In this universe, everything is a is an act of conversion. Conversion. Why? You see, the whole world was built by atom. Atom is the first part of the universe, basic unit of the universe. Now, what is atom? Atom is a combination of some electronic particles, some electric particles. By combining the electric particles, everything came into existence. Sun, moon, planets, is a everything is was made out of conversion. When electric particles converted in 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 sun, there was a light. Then you see the water. What is water? Water is comprised of two atoms, hydrogen and oxygen. Both are gases. Two gases, when combined, they are converted into water. So water means conversion of gas. Two atoms of two gases were converted, and then we see water. So water is a miracle of conversion. So is the case of tree. What is tree? Tree is a conversion of seeds. Initially it was a seed, a small seed. But when it was converted, we see a big tree. So Prophet Moses, when performed this miracle, it was not a single miracle. It was a demonstration that whole world is an act of conversion. Here you find what is the source of spirituality. When we live in this world with open eye, open mind, we see this conversion in everything, from grass up to mountain, from ocean up to galaxy. Everything is an act of conversion, from myself up to the whole material world, the whole nature is a miraculous conversion. So we have to develop that kind of eye which can see this miraculous conversion everywhere in the world. This is the source of spirituality. When you develop this kind of eye, you will find the presence of God everywhere in the world. Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. There is a hadith, Ta'budillah kannaka tarah. It means that worship God as if you are seeing Him. It means that you have to feel the presence of God every time. You have to feel the presence of God in every time. Now, what is the source of this kind of feeling? It comes through thinking. When you develop your mind, when you are able to convert things into a spiritual item, when you are able to see that the whole verse is the same kind of miracle which was performed by Moses, that is act of conversion, then you will be able to draw spirituality from everything, from water, from grass, from everything. So I can say that heart-based spirituality leads you to ecstasy. And ecstasy is simply a kind of anesthesia. But mind-based spirituality leads you to a realization, to discovery. Every time you can say, Eureka, Eureka. You can say that I found God in this water. Eureka, Eureka. Everything becomes a thrilling experience for you. When you develop this kind of spirituality in your soul, in your mind, in your thinking, you will be able to see that kind of miracle everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. Prophet Moses was able to convert a pot of wood into a serpent. The same is going everywhere in the world. Every time there is a conversion. So according to my experience, according to my study, I believe this kind of spirituality. I'm able to see God everywhere, every time, in every step, space and time, everywhere. Because everywhere there is nature. Everywhere from myself, all these things are before my eye. So I had developed this kind of eye. So I can see presence of God everywhere. I can see that kind of miracle which was performed by Moses every time, every moment. Prophet Moses was able to convert a piece of wood into a serpent. God is performing the same miracle everywhere in the world. Everywhere in the world. Oxygen, water, iron, silver, mountain, ocean, sun, moon, everything is an act of conversion. The same miracle is God is performing the same miracle at a universal level. This is the source of spirituality, according to my experience. Now, I would like to add one more point. That is the creation plan of God. Why God created us? Why He settled us in this planet Earth? This Earth is a unique phenomenon in the whole universe. There is no such kind of Earth. In this Earth, there are, life support system, life, water, and all those things we need. So this kind of planet is not found everywhere in the world. So why God created us and why God settled us in this miraculous earth? Why? According to the creation plan of God, I have studied the Quran and found that this is a part of the creation plan of God. The fact is that God created a perfect world, an ideal world that we call paradise or Jannah. Paradise is an eternal world, perfect world, ideal world. And this world is 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 a is a testing ground for us. We are here only as a test. Everything is test paper. So what is required for us? To discover God, to discover the miracle of God, to discover the same miracle which was performed by Prophet Moses in everything. We have to make the unseen seen. In everything, the same miracle is happening. In everything. Because everything is an art of conversion. When two atoms of two gases combine, the result was water. It is miracle. So everything is miracle. Water, sun, moon, everything is miracle in this sense. The whole world is an act of conversion. So God gave us a mind which has enormous capacity. God gave us eye, ear, all those things for what? To discover this spirituality in this world, to discover this 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 miraculous conversion in this world. And then we say, Alhamdulillah, although God is hidden, but it is evident in everything in this world, in the creature, in the creation. So this is the test of human being. God settled us here only for this purpose, to discover God's presence in the world, to discover God's miracle everywhere in the world, to discover the presence of God in everything, from grass up to galaxy. Those who were able to live with discovery, they will be rewarded paradise. And those people who fail to discover this spiritual content of the things, they will be declared as blind, blind, blind. So this spirituality is a very important in terms of creation plan of God. You know, God created us as an eternal being. We are eternal being, but God divided our life span in two parts: pre-death period and post-death period. Pre-death period is testing period, and post-death period is period of reward. And who will be rewarded paradise in the eternal world in post-death period? Those who proved to who proved this ability, to see God's acts in everything, God's miracle in everything. So I can say that Moses performed that kind of miracle when man was living in traditional world. In that period, man was living in traditional world, but now we are living in scientific world. So at that time he performed a miracle only to make people know that you have to develop this kind of eye. And now we have developed that kind of eye in terms of science. Science have given us that kind of eye. We can see everything. We can see this kind of miracle in everything. So this is the spirituality. Then let us take the other part of spirituality. I've told you that there are two different parts of spirituality: internal part and external part. Internal part is based on intellectual awakening. The second part is applied spirituality or social spirituality. That is to live in society as a spiritual person. We have to be able to translate our inner experience into outer world in the society. And how it is possible? You know, there was an author, C.M. Joad. He published a book, Modern Wickedness. Modern Wickedness. In this book, C.M. Joad says that man is born with hatred, with hate. Everyone is living in hate. He says that this is the reason why when there are some women that is based on hate, it is soon um, become popular because it addresses their nature that is based on hate. But it is wrong. Hate is not interwoven in your nature. Hate is an acquired quality, acquired. Why? Because this this we are living in a society where everywhere there are provocations. God made us free. God gave us freedom for test. So everyone has freedom, total freedom. So people misuse their freedom. This creates provocation. This creates unwanted situation for us. So we are living in a society where every time there are some unwanted situation, some provocation. So we react negatively. It is this negative reaction that inculcate hate in your mind. So hate is not in the nature. Hate is an acquired quality. So here is the test of spirituality. You have to adopt that kind of quality which may convert negativity into positivity. So God has given a demonstration for example, in the form of cow, cow. God has created cow. What is cow? You know, cow eats grass and return milk. Cow is cow is a divine industry. Cow is a divine industry that is able to convert grass into milk. In other words, cow is able to convert non-milk into milk. This is cow culture. So God has created cow culture, and we have to imitate cow. We have to develop this kind of sagacity. How it is possible? It is possible through a mind. There is a verse in the Quran, وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُوا هُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ. It means that when they when they when they fell in some kind of negative thought, they are able to convert it to positive thought. You know, once a person came to the Prophet of Islam, he asked, "O Prophet, give me a master advice by which I may be able to manage all the affairs of my life." It was a very interesting question. He wanted a master key to manage the affairs of life. Prophet of Islam said, "La taghzab, don't be angry. Don't be angry." It means don't be angry even when provoked. Don't be angry even when provoked. So this is the true spirituality. Jesus Christ said the same in these words, love your enemy. Love your enemy means love all, including your enemy. How this kind of ethics is possible? This love culture, how this culture is possible? It requires the quality of conversion, the same divine quality. It requires a quality of conversion. You have to convert negativity into positivity. You have to convert anger into forgiveness. You have to convert hate into love. This is required by you. God have gave us enormous quality in terms of mind. So you have to convert, you have to do this. So this is the test. So spirituality is very much related to the creation plan of God. God created you and He settled you in this world and gave us freedom. And when there is freedom, there is misuse of freedom also. So every time you will experience some kind of negativity, here is the test. You have to perform the same culture which is already performed by cows. You have to adopt the cow culture. That is, you have the ability to turn non-milk into milk. You have evolved, you have developed that kind of ability to convert negativity into positivity, to convert hate into love. This is the test. Only those people can stand on this test who have this quality of spirituality. Otherwise, it is not possible. God has given demonstration of all these things in this nature. You see, there is a rose plant. What is rose plant? In every branch of rose plant, you see a beautiful flower. At the same time, there are thorns. At the same time, there are thorns. It means that rose plant is able to live. Rose plant, although has beautiful flowers, but it has the ability to live with thorns. So we have to prove this kind of culture, this kind of capacity, this kind of ability. If you are like a flower, if you are beautiful, you are very good in character, then you are a flower. But you have to live with thorns. You are not allowed to react. Don't go to reaction. So adopt the culture of rose plant. Try to live with thorns. Even you are a flower. So this is the social spirituality. This is the social spirituality or applied spirituality. When you acquire the spirit of spirituality, when you enlighten your mind, you are a spiritual person. As an individual, you are a spiritual person. But you have to translate this quality into society in this way. You have to know the art of positive thinking. You have to know the art of conversion. You have to know the art of forgiveness. You have to know the art of tolerance. You have to know the art of living in peace. You know what is the name of paradise according to the Quran? The name of paradise is peace of home of peace. There is a verse in the Quran, Wallahu yadu ila daris salam. This is a Quranic verse. And God calls to the home of peace. Here, home of peace means paradise. So the best word given for paradise is home of peace. So you have to live in peace here. Otherwise, you are not able to live to find entry into paradise. God wants those people who are able to live as a peaceful member of society, as a tolerant member of society. Those who prove this ability in this world, they will find place in paradise. Otherwise not. This is the best definition of the paradise. Then there is a very relevant verse in the Quran. Rabbib Dali Baitul Indak fil Jannah. It means that the paradise is living in the neighborhood of God. Those who were selected for paradise will be able to live in the neighborhood of God. So we have to inculcate divine culture in our personality. divine character in our personality. There is a hadith, تخلقوا بأخلاق الله. تخلقوا بأخلاق الله means adopt divine character. There is a hadith, تخلقوا بأخلاق الله. Adopt divine character. It means that if we want to live in the neighborhood of God, you have to adopt divine character. Very, very clear, very, very clear. If we want to live in the neighborhood of God in the post-death period, you have to adopt divine character in this world. And what is divine character? That is spiritual character. Both are one and the same. Divine character is spiritual character. Spiritual in speech, spiritual in thinking, spiritual in feeling, spiritual in behavior, spiritual in everything. So you have to prove yourself that you were able to live in peace, in spirituality. Then you will be able to live in paradise. Otherwise not. تخلقوا بأخلاق الله. So those who discover God, who are those persons who discover God? Those who have spirituality, those who are spiritual persons. So spirituality means to discover God. As I have said earlier, that the equivalent of tasawwuf is a Rabbaniya in the Quran. A Rabbaniya means Rabb-oriented life. Kunu Rabbanin. Adopt Rabb-oriented life. Or Rabbaniya means adopt Rabb-oriented life or adopt God-oriented life. This is the gist of the spirituality in Islam. Rabb-oriented life, Rabb-oriented speech, Rabb-oriented thinking, Rabb-oriented behavior, Rabb-oriented character. This is the crux of spirituality in Islam. So Islamic spirituality is based on Rabb, on God. One American author has rightly said that the greatest concern of Islam is Allah. One American author studied Islam in detail. Then he says that after my detailed study, I found that the greatest concern of Islam is Allah. In other words, the Islamic spirituality is based on the concept of Allah. God-based spirituality or Rabb-based spirituality. This is the Islamic spirituality. Why Islam gives so much importance on the concept of God? God is the only source of inspiration. According to Islamic concept, there is no treasure here in our heart. Treasure is with God. God is the treasure, not our heart. We are simply recipient. God is the giver. We are the receiver. We have no treasure. I don't believe that we have a hidden treasure here in this heart. No such treasure. God is giver and we are receiver. This is the best expression of spirituality in Islam. Here I would like to narrate a story from Buddha. Buddha was a great soul. Some people believe that he was a prophet. So what happened? There was a milkman at that time. He invited Buddha at his home. He said that, please come to our home and I will give you a fresh milk. I am a milkman, and please give me some gyan. Gyan, that is knowledge, wisdom. So Buddha went to his house, and that milkman said that, please um, take a pot. So Buddha went to his house with a pot, but intentionally he put some some clay in that pot. So by inside this pot was not clean. So when Buddha reached to the house of that milkman, he gave this pot to that milkman. When milkman saw that inside that pot there is some dirt, it is not very clean. So first of all he purified it with water. After purifying that pot, he put some milk, some fresh milk, and gave to Buddha as a gift. Then Buddha took that pot and went away. So milkman shouted, "Oh Guru, you are you are going without giving me jnana. You are giving me um, knowledge." So Buddha said, "I gave you. I've already gave you." He said, "How?" He said that, in the pot there was some dirt. It was not clean. So you purified that pot from inside. After purifying, you put milk in that pot. So is the case of your case is like this. Your container is not clean. This container was not clean, so you were not ready to put fresh milk in this container. Your heart, your mind, your inner container is not clean. So you are not able to receive Gyan. First of all, you have to clean your container, your heart, your mind, your thinking. Then you will be able to receive Gyan. This is the gist of spirituality. So I don't believe that the treasure is here, inside of our being. No. Treasure is with the God, with God. All the treasure is with God. All the knowledge, everything, the source of everything is God, God Almighty. So we are receiver and God is giver. So you have to clean our container. Then we will receive the inspiration from God. I believe that according to Islam, there are two different things, Wahi and Ilham. Wahi means revelation. Ilham means inspiration. Revelation and inspiration. So prophets were able to receive revelation. Prophets were able to receive revelation. But the door is not closed. Every human being is able to receive inspiration. We can receive inspiration if our container is clean. Prophets were chosen for wahi, for revelation. That is a special case. But everyone can receive ilham, that is inspiration, provided your pot is clean, your container is clean. So this is the gist of spirituality. Don't seek spirituality here in your heart, but ask God to give you spiritual treasure by contemplation, by fikr and zikr. So I believe that God is the only treasure. God is the source of everything, including spirituality. So heart-based spirituality, heart-based spirituality believes in meditation, and mind-based spirituality believes in contemplation. This is the difference. Heart-based spirituality believes in meditation or muraqaba, and mind-based spirituality believes in contemplation, fikr, tafakkur, tadakkur. So by the way of contemplation, you can discover all those miracles in the world. By the way of contemplation, you contact God directly. By the way of contemplation, you receive the inspiration from God. This is the mind-based spirituality. Here, I would like to add one more point. Nowadays, there are so many people who are speaking in the name of Islam. If you read their books, if you speak their sermons, if you hear their speeches, you will find that they are speaking in terms of politics, in terms of jihad, in terms of violence. In the Daily Time, that is published from London, there was an article about Islam. The title was "A Religion That Sanctions Violence." A religion that sanctions violence. So there are so many people who speak like this. But I believe, I know, I have studied Islam from its original sources, from its scriptures, from the Arabic sources. I can say with conviction that the gist of Islam is spirituality. In Islam, peace is the summum bonum. So there are two most important aspects of Islam: peace and spirituality. Peace and spirituality. Peace is required for social goodness, and spirituality is required for your internal enlightenment. When you when you when you develop your mind in terms of spirituality, then you are an enlightened person. That is spirituality. And when you translate this enlightenment in society, that is peace. So peace is summum bonum in Islam. Peace is summum bonum in Islam. Why? Because without peace, there is no progress. Without peace, there is no development. Without peace, there is no positive activities. All kind of positive activities require peace. So peace is the summum bonum. So in Islam, peace is the summum bonum, and spirituality is the goal. Every individual must develop himself in terms of spirituality. And then he must translate his spirituality into society. So in terms of society, he becomes a peaceful person. He becomes a no problem person. He becomes a tolerant person. This is the gist of the Islamic spirituality. I think that I have gave a brief introduction of Islamic spirituality, and I hope that it is enough. You are educated people. You can understand everything. You don't need details. And so I can I would like to add one more point, that if you want to know what is Islam, please study the scripture. Don't see the Muslims. You have to differentiate between Islam and Muslims. You have to judge Muslims in the light of Islamic teachings and not vice versa. Islam has a scripture, an authentic scripture, that is Quran. Quran is the only source book of Islam. Quran is the reserved book of Islam. Quran is completely a reserved book, no change at all. So if you want to know what is Islam, what is Islamic spirituality, you have to read Quran. Don't see Muslim practices. Muslims claim that we are people of Islam, but they are not authentic source of Islam. The authentic source of Islam is Quran, and model is the Prophet. Quran is the book of ideology, and the model is the Prophet of Islam. So if you want to know what is Islam, you have to read the Quran. You have to see this model, this prophetic model, and not the Muslims. Muslims are engaged in uh, the case of present Muslim is that they became victim of reaction, and all these things you see in the Muslim world, that is reaction. This began during the colonial period. When colonial powers captured Muslim countries politically, Muslims became angry. Here started the present Muslim movements. All those so-called Muslim movements were production of reaction to this situation. I don't know any Muslim movement that was based on, on the study of the Quran. They reacted with this situation, with this political situation. Here I would like to add one more point, which I have derived from the study of the life of the Prophet of Islam. There is a very relevant hadith narrated by Aisha. ما خير رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بين أمرين إلا اختار أيسرهما. It means that the policy of Prophet was positive status quoism. It's very interesting. The general policy of Prophet of Islam was based on the concept of positive status quoism. It means that I accept the status quo and avail the opportunities. Don't go don't against the political system, but accept it as it is. That is status quoism. But prophetic status quoism was positive status quoism. That is, accept the status quo and find those opportunities, and so avail those opportunities. I have formulated this policy in a sentence that ignore the problem, avail the opportunities. Ignore the political problems, ignore the economic problems, ignore the social problems, and avail the opportunities. Because according to the law of nature, every in every situation there are opportunities. No problem is able to cancel, to abolish all those opportunities. So this is positive status quoism. And without adopting positive status quoism, there is no spirituality. Spirituality is based on this concept, that is positive status quoism. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله ली वलकुम अजमईन।
This is my question. You partly answered it, but take what you said about using the idea of the cow culture, the rose culture, um, this conversion of hate into love, anger into compassion. My three questions are this. They're basically one question. Who does this? How does it happen? What is the process? And what is this process? Who does this? You have partly answered it. You say it is God's work. Spirituality really is God's work. But how did it happen in you? How does it happen?
No, what he's saying is that the cow culture or the rose culture that you told them, his question is who does it or how does one do it? What is the process of doing this?
How has Maulana done?
I think that God has gave us a very, very special blessing, that is mind. Mind is unique. You know, our world is a very vast, vast universe, but no one has this kind of mind. No galaxy, no black hole, no sun, no moon have this kind of mind. Mind has enormous capacity. If you if you if you think and save yourself from distraction, then you are able to do this miracle. Every moment you can perform that kind of miracle which was performed by Moses by using this mind. And I can say that I I I do that kind of miracle every day. Why? For example, when someone provokes me and I am angry, then I remember a verse of the Quran. Innama yuwaffas sabirun ajrahum bighairi hisab. It means that those who keep patience, they will rewarded the greatest reward. So I remember that, according to this verse, that forgiveness is the greatest worship. If I avoid, if I tolerate, if I ignore this nuisance, then and keep patience, then I will be rewarded greatest reward. So I remember that, according to this verse, that forgiveness is the greatest worship. If I avoid, if I tolerate, if I ignore this nuisance, then and keep patience, then I will be rewarded greatest reward. So I'm happy that this person gave me this opportunity. By awakening my mind, I always think that this person is not my enemy. He gave me an opportunity to worship God in such a way that give me greatest reward. So it is it is it is the art of thought management. Develop in yourself the art of thought management, and you will be a superman. Thought management, by the by adopting the art of thought management, a man becomes a superman. This mind is enough to do all these things.
A comment as well as a question for you, teacher. Um, thank you for sharing that wisdom. It made an awful lot of sense to me. the internal and the external, the individual, the social, the heart-based, as well as the intellectual pursuit. What worries me is the perception that those of us in the West have of Islam, and the way the message of Islam is being projected. And I wondered why the Muslim world, the Islamic world, doesn't speak with a united voice, the kind of philosophy that you've shared with us today. And if it does speak with a united voice on this, why don't we in the West know of it? If you could share a little bit with that with us, please.
Earlier, I have told you that the basic principle is test. We are put here on test. So you see, in the whole world there is unity. In galaxy and in solar system, everywhere you can see unity. But it is not in the life of human being. Why? We are on the test. So unity is not a simple thing. It is the price of paradise. So only those people who were able to live with unity, in spite of all those disunity. It is God requires us to live in unity without all those disunity, without those differences. So those people who prove this ability, they will be selected for paradise. It is not God's scheme to establish unity under compulsion. No. God has established unity under compulsion in the rest part of the world, but not in human life. Here, God wants us to 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 use our mind, to use our to use our capacity of taking choices. So it is directly related to the creation plan of God. All those people who go astray, they are misusing their freedom. And those people who try to live in unity in spite of all those differences, they 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 are giving that price, and they will be settled in paradise. So it's not a simple thing.
Thank you very much for the sharing. And about this religion of Islam. My question, you tried to differentiate between Islam and Muslim. So, and you did mention that Muslim is a reaction of colonialism. So I'd like to know if there is any role Islam as a religion is playing in this cause by the Muslims. I'd want to know if there is any role Islam is playing in the reaction caused by the Muslims.
I can mention a reference from the Quran. In what advice Islam has given in such a situation. So there is a very well-known verse in the Quran, that is, Tilkal ayyamu nudawiluha bainan nas. Tilkal ayyamu nudawiluha bainan nas. It means that everything in this world is a test paper. Money is test paper, and children are test paper. Fame is a test paper, and also political power is test paper. And this test paper is not monopoly of any group. So according to the Quranic teachings, this change in political power was only change in test papers. So previously Muslims were given political power as a test. Now those Western powers were given political power as a test. So Muslims have to tolerate this. No reaction, the reaction was Islamic reaction. Why this reaction? It is God's choice. According to this Quranic verse, it is God's choice who, to whom He may give that test paper. So political power is also a test paper. It is not blessing. It is not monopoly of a group. So tilkal ayyamun nadawiluha bainan nas. I can say that in that situation, Muslim must have accept their position with this belief that now the turn is now it is their turn. Previously, we were giving this paper, political test. Now they are put on this test. So all those reactions was un-Islamic. This is the Quranic answer to this situation.
Again, I thank you so much for your inspiration. I come from Sierra Leone in West Africa, a country which is 65% Muslim. I have taken part in debates and discussions on Christian-Muslim interactions. And in all of it, I've never heard anything of what you have shared today. Part of my secondary school training was done in a Muslim school, even though I come from a Christian family. My question is, how widespread is your school of thought in the world? And I think there are very, very few people who have the opportunity like me to be here, and how this can be widespread, the message and your school of thought.
You know, the first verse revealed in the Quran was اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم. It means that Islam is a literature-based movement. Allama bil qalam. Islamic movement is a literature-based movement, or divine movement is a literature-based movement. So we have adopted that kind of method. Our movement is literature-based movement. We have published several hundred books on this subject, and also you can see everything in internet, and there are so many CDs. So our companions are everywhere in the world, from India up to America. They are engaged in spreading this message of peace, message of spirituality. Our mission is completely a non-political mission. Completely non-political mission. I repeat, it is a completely non-political mission. We believe in spirituality, we believe in peace, we believe in brotherhood, we believe in divine character. So there are so many people who are engaged to spread this message through literature, through internet, and through CDs. And everyone who is interested in our mission is welcome to join with this team. Today I have said that mostly people crowd on mostly reformers believe in crowd. All those reformers believe in crowd. But this mission is not based on crowd. We don't want crowd. Our mission is based on team, on individuals, on enlightened people. So everyone who believes in this scheme is welcome. And I can say that God will bless you. You will become a blessed person. And God is waiting those people who try to message His God is waiting for those people who spread His mission of spirituality, His mission of peace, and they will be rewarded paradise in the hereafter. So I welcome you, inshallah.
I had the opportunity of spending about 8 years in the Sudan, and when you mentioned jihad, I understood like what is given to me. It is something that you fight the evil in you, in yourself, and you also explain how you change your negative into positive thoughts. Now, sometimes when the mass media misuses the word jihad, is that a distorted meaning of jihad? Just like a clarification. Because my understanding, which I find it very good and I use it, is jihad is to fight the evil in you and not an external thing.
You are correct. I would like to add something more. You are completely correct. Literally, jihad means struggle, to strive. It has nothing to do with war. Jihad doesn't mean war. It is simply struggle. That is peaceful struggle. There is a verse in the Quran, وَجَاهِدْهُمْ بِهِ جَهَادًا كَبِيرًا. This is the Quranic verse. وَجَاهِدْهُمْ بِهِ جَهَادًا كَبِيرًا. Do great jihad with the help of the Quran. You mean, Quran is not a sword, it's not a gun, Quran is not a bomb. So how you can do jihad with the help of the Quran? It means that jihad means ideological campaign, ideological effort in peaceful manner. So jihad means peaceful struggle. It's very evident in the Quran and Hadith. Those people who use word jihad for their militancy, they are misusing this word. I can say that it is a grave use of this word. Jihad means peaceful struggle. That's all.